Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't look that aggressive now.
Oh no, she's with me, that's why.
No, you look pretty scary, don't you?
But she can be very, very scary.
Yeah.
In fact, we're in a bit of a courtyard, right? And downstairs is nice little grassy, greeny area. We've got a pub across the courtyard and some shops and everything. Really, really nice. And I was feeding the girls out in the courtyard this huge bone each, right? Big, big bones. And these two kids were walking to school, two boys walking to school, and they're looking at the dog, and they're looking at the bone, they're looking at me, and then looking at the dog and the bone. I says, don't worry about it, guys, we'll have a new postman tomorrow. Yeah, they didn't like me that much. We're playing Light Them Up right now while we were waiting to connect back with you. So
yeah, sorry about the connectivity issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, believe me, it happens. It does.
Yeah.
We get this a lot.
For some reason, we could still see and hear you.
Yeah, we could hear you.
Whilst you lost us for a bit.
Thank goodness we didn't
So
say
we
anything.
were there right up until the moment you introduced Light Them Up, and then it got off for us.
Sean.
Yeah.
Now, Barbara said, thank God we didn't say anything bad.
Did
Oh, did we?
Oh,
did we?
Yeah,
We should meet one day.
Lee Grimshaw's joining us. Nice to have you on board, Lee.
Yeah,
Welcome
he's
back
my
to
friend
Galaxy.
whose parents lived in front of my parents when I was younger.
Exactly. This is the young man that used to be over in China there for a while, wasn't he? Yeah, absolutely. I get it. I understand. Still got about 2 minutes 40 to go.
It's a long song.
Yeah. But no, we're really pleased that you like the fact that it's long, because when we were first looking at getting it mixed properly, we had comments, people saying, "Oh, it's a bit long. Is there any?" And we thought about cutting sections down, and there was just nothing
I've tried to cut Light Them Up down.
Yeah, there's nothing we wanted to lose from it.
And every time I did, it just didn't make much sense anymore. And
It's got to be legible, but at the same time, it's a brilliant piece of work. I'm glad you didn't butcher it too much.
Thank you. Yeah,
thanks.
We switched mixing artists from a guy who he wanted us to repeat a lot more for all the other songs, like Collisions. He wanted chorus, verse, verse, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus, kind of thing. And then for Light Them Up, he wanted it to be much, much shorter. And now we're working with a guy who is fantastic. He's so talented, and he's doing a lot of the mixing work with us. And I said to him, we're thinking about doing a Light Them Up radio edit, and he got really quite cross that I was going to chop it up and lose anything from it, and so I think those are the guys who want to be working with.
Yeah, the first guy, as Piers says, that we were working with was almost adamant that we needed to chop it down, and
lovely guy, much more successful than we are, but just
so it was coming from a place of experience, but we didn't really want to take heed of the advice.
We sound like we're really obstinate and don't listen to people. We do, but it's just this particular guy wanted us to drop it right down.
Don't worry, Pierce. I'm so glad you didn't listen to the guy. I really, really am. Oh, by the way, do you guys remember Darth Vader?
Yes.
Yeah. You might see this thing wandering around every now and again.
Yeah.
Literally, I assumed it was Darth Vader.
Yeah. Believe me, you got to be quick, Luke. You do. She's very quick. You got to get out of the way, otherwise you could get hurt. I tell you. So if you see that, if you see that in your screen, I apologise. Okay.
No, that's all right.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and Lee Grimshaw, nice to have you back. Also Anthony Ligori is back again, our resident Elvis. Nice to have you back again, my friend, it really, really is. Today we're going all the way over to Southwest UK, catching up with the band NeonFields, and of course we got Pierce, Ed and Luke on the couch today. We kind of interrupted their band practice earlier on. I think it was a drinking session, really. But how long's it been since you've been able to get back together again? A lot of the conversation so far has been in separate places and doing things computerised and everything like that. How long has it been now that you've actually been able to get back into the studio and have a practice and a play?
Yeah, when was that?
A couple of months now.
Yeah, it's been quite consistent, isn't it?
Yeah, but really only a couple of months. So it's funny that it did go. It was a long period of time where we just, as we say, just continually working remotely. But maybe August did we first start?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was quite alien at first coming back and actually playing in the same room together and.
Well, what was weird is writing for other people again. I think we had some ideas, and then and I hadn't really written with anyone else in the same room sort of collaboratively for a long time. And we wrote the chorus for "Light Them Up" the first time we met up.
Yeah,
and,
so that was obviously that was like a year ago.
Yeah,
but yeah, so there was. A period of time where we were allowed to meet just briefly, and we wrote the chorus for "Light Them Up," as Piers said. So that was the only conventional kind of bit of writing we did. Really sat in the same room, but then it all got locked down again up until August when we were starting to meet up again.
The most nerve-wracking thing is Luke is our live rig kind of master, and our live rig is. It's sort of gotten more complex for the purposes of becoming more simplistic. So we've invested in equipment. Luke has a sort of enormous sort of studio rack. I have a more powerful one, which I sort of carry around with me. But
I've got a microphone.
You've got a microphone. You've got 9-volt batteries.
Easy.
And but it's the weird thing is Luke conceptualized and kind of drew out a networking diagram of how we could actually work together live with in-ear monitoring and all this kind of stuff, and cause that's what Luke does professionally. And we built entire rigs without having the ability to test the equipment and how it was going to work at all with each other. And then we met up and we just plugged it in and it worked really nicely.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're still tweaking things here and there. It was Luke, not me, but it was,
we're still developing it, but it's coming together quite nicely.
That was the most exciting thing, I think, is to play what we like to put on the record, to play that live. There's a lot of sequencing and clever routing that we need to kind of sort out and triggering here and there, and it all just kind of fell into place. So testament to Luke's engineering skills.
Because this is it, Grant. I mean, we've been, we first kind of met each other at the end of 2019, and then, we were playing kind of norming before performing, I suppose, and meeting up for regular rehearsals, but more kind of conventional songwriting at that point, and then, as we say, evolved during last year, during 2020, through remote collaboration, really. But so we had a period of rehearsing together, and then we evolved our style and wrote loads of tracks, and began releasing them throughout this year. Really, it was March, and Light Them Up came out, which was our first release onto the streaming platforms, and so it's only now that we're back together with the songs that we've written, created, that we're and figuring out logistically how to perform them live. Yeah. And so it's funny to have released so much music but have never actually played a gig together, and we're currently working out our live set essentially and how that's going to work, performing it.
That actually takes care of the next question that I was going to ask you. But if Luke's anything like me, toys, love toys, believe me.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And shiny things.
I just look dumbfounded. I walk around the room, kind of just pretending I'm helping, but not
Unraveling and unraveling cables.
not wanting to touch anything because I'll probably break it. And
Every band practice, my
Yeah,
car is full.
I got to be honest with you, Ed. If you ever get upset by Luke, you know, watch your microphone. Literally, watch out for that. He might put a bit of baby tea gel on there. Before you know it, you can't see nothing.
Oh no, usually if Ed gets on my nerves, I can just mute him.
Yeah.
I like my idea better.
Yeah.
You know,
It's addictive, actually. Yeah.
But my next question, Ed, was literally at the moment, and I talk to a lot of bands around the world. They're saying the same things to me. We're not gigging. We're not doing live stuff. We're doing a lot of writing, a lot of recording. And you pretty much answered the question that are you looking at doing a lot of gigging in the near future? Is there bookings coming in?
We haven't got anything booked, just because we want a bit more time to get it sorted out, but it's definitely a huge goal.
We're keen to hit that pretty hard next year. You know, I think we'll use the rest of the time this year to, and there's not much time this year, but you know, obviously now that we're able to be back rehearsing together, you know, getting those songs tight and ready for live, but we want to be able to do that absolutely. You know, we've all. I mean, it's been a long time since I've played live, but you know, we've all been in live bands before and are keen to do that. And also, you know, we've got like a fan base that seem to really care about our music, which is fantastic. And you know, meeting some really lovely people through the music that are really being so supportive, and we're keen to play live so that they can be a part of that really as well. You know, it's important to us.
Well,
So-
let me tell you, Ed, you seem to be connecting with our audio audience. Literally here at Galaxy, they are really, really letting us know how much they appreciate your music. Now, we touched on this earlier on this morning when we spoke about possibly coming down here, down under to the Antipodes here in New Zealand, playing in front of New Zealand audiences. Would you consider that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, believe me, I love
Fantastic.
it.
It'd be a dream to
I think, Luke, you were chasing the cat when this was mentioned.
Yeah.
We kind of agreed to go to New Zealand.
Yeah, but
Just some different wildlife over there is.
yeah, but before you actually consider that, let me tell you, we're a little crazy here in New Zealand. I mean, believe me, we like to have a bit of fun. Literally, it doesn't get the heart going, you're not live, right?
Right.
Fair enough.
So, do you know much about New Zealand?
I'm not going to say yes.
I want
because
to
I
know
get
more.
first on it.
I visited when I was 7. I was fortunate enough to go on a trip with my family, and we did some camper vanning around Australia and New Zealand, and beautiful country.
A lot of my family have immigrated to New Zealand, and yeah, unfortunately, I've never been able to visit.
Well,
So
we're
my
desperate
exposure
to come over
my
and
exposure
learn
to New
more,
Zealand, I would
certainly.
say, stops at Lord of the Rings.
well, let me stop you there because I'm going to talk about Lord of the Rings very shortly. But for a start, we were colonialised. You know, Captain Cook. He was the person that colonised New Zealand. Unlike Australia, there was. Well, you sent all the criminals there, didn't you?
It was
well known.
it was Luke that did that.
Yeah.
Entirely on me. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you did the right thing. You found the right country to put those people. You really did.
I think many of them were my relatives. So
Yeah, well, I'm not going to admit to that either, to be honest with you. I really want. We have a love-hate relationship, Australia and New Zealand. We really do. I think it's a rugby thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, we have the All Blacks.
You guys both play a bit of rugby, don't you?
Yeah.
Cameron, I think. Just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's our national sport, literally.
We know.
Yeah, we're all we're rugby fans. I
Yeah.
certainly am big rugby fans. So
Yeah,
I enjoy the Lions tour a hell of a lot, and yeah, I was a bit gutted about the World Cup.
The All Blacks are just
But
so good, so good.
We-
But anyway,
We were ripped off of the World Cup, literally the day that we were supposed to take it out. Literally, Mother Nature sent a typhoon into Japan, and then they come down to this Duckworth thing. I thought that was for cricket. You know, and literally it just ripped the trophy out of our hands, I've got to be honest with you. But yes, we are, you know, pretty much former world champions in rugby. We have the All Blacks, the Australians have the Wallabies, sorry. And let me tell you, the Australian rugby team hasn't had any silverware from New Zealand in there for over 35 years. Says something, doesn't it?
Not much of a rivalry, I'd say.
Yeah.
I probably alienated our Australian audience.
Yeah. I'm just
a couple of fans over there.
That's
I
okay.
say how good New Zealand are. We've got to get this right, kids.
Yeah, absolutely. That's okay.
I genuinely enjoy all Southern Hemisphere rugby, though. It's a lot more entertaining and there's a lot more movement and stuff like that.
Don't alienate Northern Hemisphere, right?
Northern Hemisphere.
Everyone's great. We're not everyone.
Well, believe me, I kind of talk to a lot of Canadians and a lot of Americans, and I sort of say to them, if you're not familiar with the rivalries of rugby here in New Zealand, look to ice hockey between America and Canada. You get the same kind of deal, right? And they understand. They really do. Yeah. I think Canadians are more a Gretzky thing, really, to be honest. And he's now making wine. Just ask Tiger Woods. Yeah. Car accident not so long ago. Alcohol up the gazoo. Anyway, guys, we better get back to this, literally, because believe me, I want to cover this. And we were talking about getting you guys here in New Zealand to play in front of New Zealand audiences. Now, New Zealand's made up of 3 islands. Right down the very bottom, little island called Stewart Island. And quite frankly, guys, the only island in New Zealand that actually got a real name. Literally.
Right.
Manly name, Stewart. Because whoever, you know, named New Zealand after that ran out of imagination, called the next one South. And the one following that, of course, North, right? So, believe me, but I got to be honest, I'm the type of guy that wants to rename the moon.
Yeah.
Well, I am. I mean, Pierce, scientists are finding new moons, new planets, Goldilocks kind of deal every day, right? Then they have the audacity of naming it. They don't go there and ask the population, can we name your planet? Do they? No, they go ahead and they name it.
It's a very valid point.
I mean, in a way, they should just say it's a nickname rather than we're just gonna. This is what we're gonna call it.
Yeah,
we're not gonna imply that we're somehow owning the name. It's
exactly, but they
this is our interpretation of what you're calling.
Yeah, but
like the various names we call it.
But the thing is, Ed, that they do it. They do name these planets. They do name these moons. But ours is called Moon.
Mm.
I mean, seriously.
Creativity, doesn't it?
For many years, I've been on the forefront of wanting to rename it. I reckon we should call it Celestial Body Brian.
It's a strong name.
Yeah.
Strong name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Besides,
We'd say CBB for sure.
yeah.
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 There's
And,
a full CBB on tonight.
The moon.
yeah.
The moon. And all the other ones are other moons.
But I reckon it would look good on a check as well.
God, that's all
Yeah, writing out Celestial Body Brian. Yeah, absolutely. Now, New Zealand, we're getting back to New Zealand. Have you ever heard of a hoo-hoo grub?
A hoo-hoo grub.
A hoo-hoo grub. Yeah, I'm sure you guys are familiar with whiteworm in the tequila, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is a lot bigger. Are you familiar with a caterpillar?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Well, the hoo-hoo grub is like a double-decker bus to a mini.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've heard of widgety grubs. Is that something?
So, something familiar, yeah. I think that's what you guys would call it. We call them hoo-hoo. The traditional indigenous folks of New Zealand, the Maori, actually have them as a delicacy here. And, well, Barbara, sort of every band that we bring into the country is a tradition, right?
I see where this is going.
And what you do is you put the live body in your mouth, rip off the head, don't eat the head, it's yucky. But when you crunch down on this, it's like eating.
That's the bit that's yucky, the head.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's lovely.
Most women, believe me, most women will agree with you. You know, the yucky bit's the head. If you think about that, take you a minute to think about it. But when you crunch down on this, it's like eating creamy peanut butter.
Sure.
Now,
Right.
what we do.
Well, I'm sold.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have a place down the South Island that every year has a wild foods festival that we make sure that we bring our artists to, if you know what I mean. Now, you guys...
Actually wild food.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. It's not candy floss and hot dogs on a stick, but you might find a kid wandering around with a deep-fried locust or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Dipped in chocolate.
Well, hey, I've been trying to get the organisers for about 25 years now, every time I go there, to open up a stand where we can dip women in chocolate.
Yeah. Right. Luke's been petitioning for things
Hey,
for a
look.
very long time.
I reckon that's the epitome of wild food right there. It's all day eating. It is, literally. But
Keep pushing it through.
have you ever heard of Queenstown?
Yes.
You have heard of not Queensland, that's in Australia, you know, the place where men wear dresses and high heels and drive fast in women's clothing, call it drag racing apparently. You're familiar with the Spice Girls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so,
Okay,
yeah.
well I was talking to a lady out of Australia just a couple of days ago, and I says, how's the COVID thing going over there? She goes, Grant, it's like the Spice Girls. I went, how do you associate that? She goes, we're all doing well except Victoria.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, but believe me, Victoria's not doing too well over in Australia. But getting back to Queenstown, now believe me, this is a little boutique town, come city, wants to be a city, and it's wall to wall, literally you fly in there, it's nothing but mountains everywhere, and the turbulence is wonderful. Believe me, I love turbulence in a plane. You never know who you might run into down there. In fact, Shania Twain owns property down there. Prior to the pandemic, Kevin Costner, Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise, they all go there, mainly to get away from the paparazzi, have a bit of a life, you know, take somebody that's significant other than the wife kind of deal, you know. And
Yeah.
that's where they go. But I've got to be honest with you guys, you don't want to run into me down there.
Why not?
Why not? Go for a pint?
Everybody, yeah, I'll go for a pint, but everybody asks me why not. It's simple. I'll throw you off a bridge.
Oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
There we go, there we go. Yeah, believe me, the guy that introduced the sport to New Zealand, AJ Hackett, is a very close friend of mine, and we love to be able to get... Either that or we'll put you in a swing and slingshot you out over a big canyon.
That's what my friend is a really good friend of mine called Denver. He is doing a bucket list thing. He's only in his like 30s, but he's just trying to tick things off the list. He went out to New Zealand, and his brother-in-law managed one of these places, and it looked insane. He was on a chair. They tied him to a chair, and they tilted him back and just swung him over a canyon. And yeah. So. Wow. I'm going to nominate Luke to do all that.
Let's put it this way, Luke. You're not Australian, we'll attach the bungee.
Yeah, oh, I appreciate that.
That's charitable.
Now we've clarified that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all would be rude not to do.
It kind of would be. But at the same time, there's a thing down there called the Shotover River, and now they have these huge big jet boats, super boats. Literally, they not only so fast, they turn these things inside out, upside down, and all around. So much so, they guarantee you won't spill your beer.
Nice.
Wow. It's nice to see that.
I have actually been on it when I was a kid. It's only that you mention it, I remember. But yeah, I remember going on.
Did you spill your beer?
On those, and I didn't spill my beer.
You didn't spill your beer.
At the age of 7, I still
Yeah,
managed to keep both of my beers. I was double parked.
I'm glad that you had 2 beers at the age of 7. My God, what were they thinking? They could have given you a keg.
I know. I had two in my hands, and then obviously the beer hat with the straws as well. So.
Yep.
And then a juice box between the knees.
I hadn't been able to pack my funnel in the suitcase, so it was too long. But anyway.
Actually, I had one American guy go to me, "How come I won't spill my beer?" I says, "We're civilized. We have lids." Philly D is watching. Nice to have you on board, Philly. It really, really is. Now, guys, let's get back to the music. This is the reason why we're here in the first place, literally. And the song that I very first heard of NeonFields impressed me that much that I actually wanted to do an interview with these guys. Tell me about Rituals. How did you guys come to this?
I remember.
Well,
Rituals is a weird one.
So, firstly, I'd written a song prior to starting the band where some of the melodies had come from that. The vocal melodies are essentially from that song that I wrote, and then Piers did a kind of reinterpretation that was completely different musically from what I'd written, and so it became a whole new song, really. But
a lot of our songs are my attempts. Because Ed's got a really awesome catalogue of great tunes, and
I think it's oversold.
If you don't mind my saying, they're not like the most amazingly produced concepts, but like the melody's strong, the concepts are good. It's a well constructed piece of music, and they act really well as demos. But I have a really irritating. It must be irritating to you anyway, but I've got a really irritating habit of trying to reproduce one of these songs. And then about 2 days in, I sort of go, no, I've written a new one based on this idea. And I think we've gotten, you did one called My Goddess, and I think we've gotten 3 songs out of me trying to rewrite My Goddess.
But Rituals is one that we did kind of stick with.
Yeah, Rituals one was a bit of an interpretation, wasn't it?
But interestingly, I guess we're getting into the realms of why it was NeonFields, and then it was which then leads into a whole thing of we were kind of in a band with we were a 4-piece initially as of 2019, and
we were amazing bass guitar.
We had an incredible bass player, he was a fantastic musician, but with the way the music went electronically and a lot of the synth bass that was he kind of became a redundant part of the band, and so it was fairly mutual, but decided we tried to keep with it and have some traditional bass in, but it just wasn't really working.
There was a lot of conflicts, wasn't there?
There were a few, and one of them was the band name. We have a track called Cage of Lions, and it's in fact one of the songs that I wrote prior to starting the band as well was called Cage of Lions. And then when we started as the 4-piece, we actually called ourselves Cage of Lions. And then we felt like that name wasn't really working with the style we were moving forward with, and we were trying to come up with some names, and we'd arrived at NeonFields and proposed that to the 4 of us, because I think you said Neon and I said Fields was kind of how it worked, and so
it's like a chart.
And then
I picked up on that.
The bass player we had hated it, and he didn't want to.
Didn't enjoy it, did he?
And so we'd kind of gone, okay, well,
delegated it to a track name instead. And
this was prior to us parting ways, but we said, okay, well, we can't have a name that someone in the band hates. That's just not going to work. So
we kicked him out because we didn't like the name.
So we thought, okay, well, we'll use it as a song name instead. So we took Rituals, but it was actually initially called NeonFields. Which is why the track is based on this idea of this sudden natural phenomenon happening called the neon fields, which are bringing people together. It became a place of worship, and no one could quite understand or explain, and people thought maybe it was coming from a higher power.
It's a dubious concept now, though, because now we've called the band NeonFields, but still continue to release Rituals and self-reference NeonFields in the song Rituals. We sound like we're trying to start a cult.
We do. But the premise, the NeonFields.
They want to announce that we are.
the theme behind Rituals is kind of like a Paradise Lost idea, where we couldn't help but like dig up the fields where this was happening in order to discover what was causing it, and actually we would have been better off just leaving it alone. The fact that we dug them up, there was no great explanation for it. It was just a simple kind of it was just that, was it, type thing, and so the magic and the mystery and what people were flocking to gather around and see just kind of was lost. And
I think Rituals also took quite an interesting turn musically as well. I think I wrote most of the piece. Luke had a percussion in later, and it was much more muted, much more low key, a bit more like the band Low, actually, like that kind of slowcore sort of track, which I love. A big fan of them. And there were some samples which our mixing artist asked to have dry, so without like my filters and reverbs on them and stuff like that. And he took so long coming back to us with a rendition of Rituals. Usually it takes a month or whatever. This was 3 months down the line. But we don't begrudge him because he does fantastic work. And it really changed. And it took me a ton of convincing to embrace like the kind of 80s retro arpeggio that's in there, and luckily he did create that, and we all accepted it, but I think I took a lot of convincing to think that this was a good idea, and it's my most popular track, weirdly enough. So I was very, very much wrong, but it took a bit of a weird journey, that one.
Piers, let me tell you, to date, 2,791 requests and climbing for it. It's getting attention, it really is. And I think it is the one track that really is being identified by our audience. And I think it covers everything you just said. They're loving it, they really are. Donnie Coulter's back. Nice to have you on board, Donnie. Sean Simpson, hello darling. Nice to have you back as well. Before we move on, I think, and I do have a couple of paying questions for you, we should play this. Here's Rituals from NeonFields on Galaxy. Gosh, it's hot in here. It's sweaty. I used to have this young lady who would come along and just, fan me down.
There's someone just to the left.
No, that's the wife, and she's got. Yeah, no, that's the wife, and she's got a big hammer. she got rid of my bunker wallower.
When they start waving hammers at you, it's never a good place to be.
Well, so Grant, what's the live scene like out in New Zealand? You have to excuse my ignorance, but
right now it's zipped to very bugger all, to be honest with you.
So should ask how was the live?
How will be? I think is probably a better question.
Well, I used to do shows for things like Rhythm and Vines, and you're talking 30,000. Over a weekend, you might get about 150,000 people roll through the place. We're hungry for good live entertainment, and more so now, of course, with this lockdown thing going on. And poor Barbara running an entertainment company that brings bands into the country, Zippo for a couple of years now almost, and we're almost losing a lot of our staff through this. So there's a lot of rebuilding to be done. But I reckon, and I wouldn't be far wrong from saying this, once the floodgates open again, it's going to be nothing but music.
Yeah.
This is it. Hopefully the renaissance.
I think there will be a bit of a renaissance, of it, and you're starting to see that now, Luke, aren't you?
Yeah, it's going a bit like that in the UK. My calendar working shows has gone from basically nothing to I get a couple of days off in the month.
You get a couple of days off? You're lucky.
I know.
My God.
That's what we keep on trying to tell him.
Yeah.
He thinks he's hard done by.
This is it.
I
Because
toured,
we slave
I don't give myself a minute off in the meeting.
I toured the world for 36 months with an Australian band that had 4 letters to its name. Started with an I.
In excess.
Yes.
Oh.
And
I love in excess.
we were lucky to get a day off in the whole 36 months.
Oh, stop your whining, Luke.
Kids these days, eh?
Oh,
I mean, hopefully when you got a day off, it was a paid day off.
Yeah.
And your food tickets were provided.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You're expecting us to pay you now, are you?
Yeah, all of that. But we actually had about 300 staff, literally 3 stages, and we were leapfrogging everything, you know what I mean?
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
And we had valets. Every 10 of us had a valet. In little groups of 10, we had a valet. They didn't want you going out on the streets or anything like that. If you wanted clothing, if you wanted anything, the valet would bring it into your hotel or motel, wherever you were staying. I mean, if you wanted a new suit, they would bring in 50 suits for you to choose, you know what I mean? All that sort of stuff. So we used to love to ditch these guys. We wanted to get rid of these guys. We were sick and tired of the meets and greets, let's go and meet the mayor or the dignitaries, or go to the museums, or go and see art exhibitions, stuff like that. Stuff that. We wanted to find out what the town was like, what the city was like. You know what I mean? So we would ditch these guys. And I'll tell you a story about Amsterdam in a couple of minutes. Next one up is Time to Leave, so we'll have a chat about that. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and of course Ritual's been my favourite NeonFields track to date. It really, really is, but you never know, they might come up with something that calypsos that, or ellipses that, let's put it that way. Now guys, I do have a couple of fan questions for you. First one is from a young lady called Tracy. She's asking, as a fan, how do we get hold of you? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? But more importantly, do you respond?
Very much so.
Oh, yeah.
This is why I'm constantly on the music, because most of the time I'm messaging people. So certainly on we're on all 3 of those: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All as at NeonFields Band. And yeah, send us a message. I'll reply.
Ed's on Instagram and Facebook, and I do Twitter.
Piers does Twitter, and Luke wants a day off.
And Luke's personal number.
So Luke, I take it, Luke, that you do TikTok.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And he has an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, guys, do you have a website? And more importantly, can we acquire your music off your website?
Yeah, all for free. The website, I built the website, so it's not the quickest website in the world, but
it's an amazing website.
It works okay. But anyway, if you log into neon-fields.co.uk at the moment, but soon will be neonfields.co.uk as well. There's a little box at the top menu called Join. You can buy all our music on there. You can buy T-shirts and all that kind of stuff, which is lovely. A lot of people have got the music for free and bought stuff to support us as well, which is really, really cool. But there is a button at the top called Join, and if you enter in your email address, you get an automatically generated email, and we'll see that come through, and then we'll give you authorization to just download all the songs for free. And like get artwork and stuff for free, and so we're trying to have like a bit of a VIP access area, which
I mean,
we're hoping is showing a little bit back to anyone that's listening to us.
Pierce, and I know that you got a Neon Fields shirt there besides what Luke's wearing, and I got to admit, Ed, I like the logo. I really, really do. Here we go. Let's have a flash of this. How would you like to send me a couple of these so that when I'm doing interviews, and believe me, you may have noticed, Ed, that I do wear other people's logos and brands and everything like that. Today,
absolutely.
I'm in a Starfy today, but you'd be surprised how many people actually, while I'm doing these interviews, are actually on the interwebby thing, finding out more about you. You know what I mean? So subliminally, if you want to send me a couple, it's a way of giving you a bit of a promotion. Literally,
just let us know your size.
I'll get Barbara to send you all the details and everything.
We'll have to look into NeonFields caps as well.
Yes, absolutely. Or koozies. Do you call them? Yep, koozies over there. Believe me.
No, I was being polite. Tell us what to do.
Then older.
Hold on.
Oh, hang on, you made this disappear. Oh, you pulled it
Plug that
out.
back in.
Oh, sorry everyone.
Here we go.
Grant did a booger.
I'm finding a
Oh
koozie.
no, look. Grant did a booger.
Here we go.
knows what koozie is.
I think I do.
It's like a bit.
That's what my guess was.
No, not a beanie.
No, I thought beanie.
A beer cooler.
Oh!
You didn't know what koozie was either.
No, that's what I said.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
used
because
to
you
have
guys
those.
haven't lived in hot countries.
Yeah, exactly.
Believe me, it's to put your beer can in, and it keeps your beer cold and your hand warm from being cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, perfect. We need some of those.
I thought they were joking that they didn't know.
No, I had no idea.
Embarrassed.
I have seen one before.
Ed's clearly the heavy drinker of the group.
Yes,
That's probably true. I come from a long line of them.
Fair enough.
And, some of them are watching right now, I'm sure.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
If they're not already too smashed.
Come on, guys, it's getting late. Time to get the beer out. We need a koozie. But yeah, believe me, if you want to send me some product, and if you want to throw some extra stuff in there, we would love to be able to do a competition as well, do some giveaways, if you know what I mean.
I was going to say, we could send Luke as well.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of your day
There's
off.
someone that would like Luke.
Post you Luke and a t-shirt, and then you can give whichever.
Yeah, you choose. Either give away me or the t-shirt.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Ed, if you're going to send Luke over, he's not coming back.
We'll raffle up.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's pretty useful.
No, I'm sorry. The staff here said we'll raffle him.
I mean, I think you know, it's.
Auction,
Yeah.
I mean, we need Luke. Desperately.
Yeah.
I mean, not only is he sound mastermind and obviously, you know, incredible drummer as well. But if you've seen the video for Light Them Up, he did all the lighting for that as well. All the lighting in that video was Luke as well. So actually,
I think I was actually prouder of the lighting in that music video than the drumming.
Well, I tell you what, Luke, we would love to have you over here. Literally, we would. And, well, we have a job for you if you want one. So consider that one day. I don't want to steal you away.
Exactly one day of experience in radio.
I think it would take you a little longer to fly over here than one day, though.
That's
Probably.
true.
Yeah, believe me.
That's a good old way.
Your arms get tired at the end of that as well. Got to be honest. Donnie Coulter says can't wait to do shows again. It's been way too long. Absolutely. Every band in the world is saying that, literally. Now, having said that, it's not time to leave, but it's time to talk about time to leave, I think, because we've got one more song after this. And then I'm going to tell the boys about Amsterdam, and I'm sure they'll understand what I'm talking about. But let's get into Time to Leave. Tell me a little bit about this.
Another rehashing of your
again,
your
Time to
songs,
Leave was a pre-NeonFields one that I wrote, yeah, I mean, in terms of theme, it's all of our tracks tend to have a story, and it's about. I mean, certainly "Time to Leave's" about wanting to escape. The idea is that it's someone that's convinced that this celestial being is going to come and beam him up and take him away from the madness of the world one day, and and is absolutely convinced. Everyone else thinks he's insane, and then the kind of large outro of the song is to represent that actually happening, and him jetting off essentially. So so that's it really. But
yeah, this one certainly sort of came about. Yeah, we definitely had an idea, didn't we? That we actually tried well before trying synthesizers and stuff like that in the band, and more electronic elements. And it's really cool. I think it kind of epitomises our wedge narrative. We have a little bit of a habit. You probably noticed it.
Starting slow and ending big.
Yeah, sort of every song is a bit of a wedge, and it's a format that I personally really, really enjoy. But I don't think an EP's fine, but I'm a bit concerned about an album kind of doing this throughout the whole thing. It might become a bit tiresome. I don't know, but yeah, I think "Time to Leave" is definitely the biggest kind of wedge. It starts off really soft and then goes absolutely massive at the end. So this kind of floating singular chorus, and
I mean, it tends to be that it's part of the narrative, I mean, with "Time to Leave," it's kind of internal thoughts to begin with, and then it's it's kind of the middle section is expressing those thoughts, and then the final section is this real epic. You want it to feel like a journey because it's essentially what it's signifying, and this kind of excitement that he was right, and off they go, and so it's.
Sometimes it's about the narrative, and then sometimes, like with Light Them Up, it's just fun to whack on the biggest sawtooth bass synthesizer you've ever heard, and then play really loud guitars with wah pedals. And
but that was also part of the narrative.
It was
everything being blown sky high at the end. I basically weave the narrative
you
to
made
make it
part
work.
Of the narrative. I just wanted to play guitar really loudly.
Yeah,
and,
you guys just wanted to rock out, and why not?
Well, I tell you what, guys. Let's get it done. It's time to leave. Here's NeonFields. Gosh, it's warm in here. You guys okay? You don't need a beer or anything?
I would love a beer, but we've got to drive after this.
Yeah, we do have to drive.
You guys are...
It's 20 to 12.
Your country is so hard on insurance for vehicles, aren't you?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's ludicrous.
I mean,
yeah, because a certain population of the country don't get their cars insured. Our insurances, I mean, Luke, yours is probably starting to taper off now. So before the age of 27, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's the same here, but we're not that hard on it, if you know what I mean. If you have a car accident, the police don't come and arrest you because you're not insured.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's quite a big deal over here.
I've noticed, I have, in fact, sometimes when I get a couple of minutes, I'll switch something on the interwebby thing, and a lot of it is actually traffic cops from England doing shows and stuff like that, if you know what I mean. And I'm watching these guys. My God, the cops pick on if you got cameras there that let the cops know that you're not insured.
Yeah. The tax and all that kind of stuff.
Same thing with tax and MOT and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
You can't get away with it.
No, but then again, what's frustrating is that if everyone taxed their vehicles, if everyone insured their vehicles, and if everyone got their MOTs, then actually all these things would be insanely cheap. But it's the fact that the insurance companies have to account for the fact that then some people aren't insured and they're not going to get their money
You're
back.
basically paying, assuming that anyone you crash into will be uninsured.
Yeah, precisely that. So it's a kind of a thing like maybe nobody should pay it or maybe everybody should pay it, and we've decided in this country that everybody should pay it, which I guess makes sense in a way. And then but not everyone does. So
unreal.
It's,
unreal.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we're not that hard on it here in New Zealand. Now, I was going to tell you about Amsterdam. You're going to love this because I was with the band In Excess, and we'd come from Texas. In fact, we'd come from Dallas, Texas, and we'd landed in Amsterdam. Now, after a number of months, one airport and one city starts to look much like the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mentioned that we like to ditch our valets, so we got to our residences where we were going to be put up for the night and everything like that, and we decided we'll go and have a look at Amsterdam. So in our group of 10, we went down to this place, and they had these little floating restaurant kind of deals, right? Mm-hmm. And we're all climbing on there, and we noticed that the menus were rather different. I mean, you don't get marijuana soap in New Zealand, you know what I mean? So we're hooking into this in every which direction, and I decided this is a perfect time to ditch my valet. So I'm off like crazy. He wasn't watching, I'm off. I went running down the street, the big church, red doors and everything, and just past this was a multi-storey building, very old style building, with just stairs. So I thought, in case he's following me or something, I'll nip up here. And at the top of the stairs was the sign over this door. It said traditional country dancing.
Right.
And I thought, right, I've just come from America, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So I went bowling in there for about 300 people in Dutch garb. I'm not kidding. Full-blown Dutch garb with wooden shoes on clogs, right? And on a wooden, highly polished wooden floor. Now, how the hell they didn't fall over for a start was amazing me, right? And I'm sitting there, mouth wide open, watching this, and this young lady, she can't have been more than 18, blonde, blue-eyed, really angelic face. She comes up to me and she goes, "Do you clog?"
Of course, I do.
I'm a Kiwi, right? The only answer to that is only if I eat too much cheese. I didn't get a date. Let's put it that way. Terry Ashley's watching. Nice to have you on board, Terry. Welcome back. It is an absolute pleasure. Marat Prasad is watching as well. Nice, nice. Good on you, bro. Now, guys, I got to ask you, would you mind if we had a chat to our friend over in India who has a magazine? Now, he's in his region, he's about 8 million people, and I'm pretty sure he knows each and every one of them by first name, to be honest. But we would like to continue the promotion with you guys and try and get you into his magazine. Would you mind if we forward that information on?
I would love that. That
Yeah,
sounds great.
Anything
Please.
like that is just
Brilliant.
awesome.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Because
Usually,
I'm friends with
Barbara will set up a group thing somewhere, somehow. I think it's on Messenger or something, with Jay from Lazy Indie Magazine. And believe me, I think he's going to love you. I really, really do. And it's not. We actually we have a column in his magazine as well, if you know what I mean. But we would love to be able to get other people in there from different parts of the world as well into the magazine, and different cultures of. Now,
Yeah, look.
gosh.
Already.
Dear. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. What happened to the
talk.
production manager? She didn't let me know. Literally, we ran out of music. Doesn't happen often. It really, really doesn't. Just talking to the boys about getting them into Lazy Indie Magazine. Now, at the same time, I do have a couple of fan questions for you. And I did ask you how we get hold of you. Now, Aaron, coming out of St. Petersburg, asked, would you consider touring Russia?
Yeah, absolutely. I think.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it does sound fun. I mean, I think we're really keen to travel and play shows in different countries. So absolutely. Yeah, I've never been to Russia, but I'd love to. Love to go.
No, nor me actually.
Yeah.
No.
Be sure to tell us where.
Well, yeah.
You
get it wrong
have
in
to narrow it down a bit.
Yeah.
Check our way towards
At least
St. Petersburg.
Yeah, well, yeah, St. Petersburg is a good start. Now, at the same time, Brenda, coming out of Cairns, Australia, is asking, what would you call the pinnacle of your career at the moment?
Well, I mean,
that's a tough one.
it feels weird talking about Pinnacle already.
This interview.
Because really we haven't been going very long, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, this is special.
It really is. I genuinely mean this. This is really nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is our first live interview as a band. It appears you were on a radio show just by yourself.
Yeah, I was in a couple of ones talking about us before,
but really, you know, so this is our first live interview. You know, we're really just getting going, it still feels like, and we're working very hard to make it seem like we're further on than we are really, but I think you know, well, this is certainly one of them, and you know, the support that you guys have been showing us, and I think what's a dream is just the reactions we're getting from listeners, really. You know, the feedback we're getting is special, basically. It's just, it's so nice to have people messaging saying, "Oh, we love this song," and the other great thing is that everyone seems to have their different favourite. It's not everyone gets in touch and it's the same song that everyone loves. It seems like
recording site, right? One's called Murphy, one's called Paddy. Original names, literally, and well, Murphy was literally saying to me the other day, he was on this site, Paddy's halfway up a ladder, and a piece of slate comes falling off the roof. What's his ear off? Yeah, I thought that was rather dramatic, right? And Murphy picks it up.
I thought it was the start of the joke.
It was meant to be. It was meant to be. Literally. Segway time. Segway time. And bonus track for sure here at Galaxy. Tell me all about Meant to Be.
Well, Meant to Be is yet to be released on streaming platforms, which is why you know, we're basically keen that it gets radio play, people hear it. We're going to hold off releasing this one until most likely early next year, but want to drum up interest in the track, and hopefully, I mean, it's for sale on our website for £1.50 to download the track, and we're hoping to entice some people in to actually, you know, because so far really our ethos has been, you know, put all our music up on streaming platforms, you know, provide it on our website for our subscribers for free download, etc. And so essentially just giving away our music for free, and that's, you know, fine.
We've maintained that with Meant to Be. It is available for free.
It is available as well. But I think we're just trying to encourage, you know, trying to get a bit of the money in that we can then promote ourselves more with on this one. We're hoping that this one has a bit of traction and uptake, really, which is
meant to be outside of the EP as well. This was meant to be the first single, if you like, or the flagship for the album, which will also include the songs from the EP along with a few more. Meant to be is meant to be the flagship for that, so that's nice and exciting, and came together super quickly. And
well, it was our first track post lockdown.
It was, wasn't it? And, and we gave Luke one hell of a workout having to play this mad 32 beat drums, and it's time for Luke to really let loose on this track, which I love. You know, we've got a great drummer and a real drummer, not a drum machine, and so it's nice to as for now. And you know, it's good to see him show some chops, you know, and that's really cool, and really go for it. And you know, there's a few. I like this one. It's got a few hidden lot of bits and bobs in there. It's got vocal recording from a family member of yours who was trying to push the narrative in a direction, and it's about kind of an unrequited love. This one a little bit,
unrequited love,
creepy kind of love.
Exactly. I like the twist of you know, it sounds like it's just a standard, you know, love song, and then you find out in the first chorus that actually it's unrequited, that it's not being reciprocated, and in fact, you know, she's hiding every time that he comes along, and the premise really is that actually because the voice recording we hear in the instrumental is her saying, "Oh, thank you, have a nice day," and essentially it's actually that he's recorded her when he's just gone to buy his coffee or something, and actually that single exchange of "Oh, have a nice day" is what he's then worked up into this thing of we're meant to be together, and it's.
I think it's a good point to point out that Ed pulls these fantastic narratives from fiction. He isn't a stalker.
They are not autobiographical in any way.
He's not schizophrenic. He doesn't believe he's going to be adopted by aliens, and he's almost certainly not an asteroid.
I'm not an asteroid. But I plan to make an impact.
Yeah.
No,
in actual fact, they're all about Luke.
Yeah.
I am all of those things.
Yeah.
And more.
Yeah.
But Fizz mentioned this, but my brother's girlfriend is actually the voice recording in the instrumental as well. So thank you, Maddie, for that amazing little snippet for us.
Yeah, it totally was a final little touch. But yeah.
Well, I tell you what, guys, it's meant to be right here at Galaxy. I take it we're exclusive with this one.
Yeah. I don't think we've given it to anyone else yet at all. We haven't sent it out to anyone else.
Because at the same time, Time to Leave was an exclusive as well, wasn't it, Ed?
So Time to Leave, you guys were the first ones to play it, so it was an exclusive, from that point of view. And then since then, a couple of other radio stations that have been amazing and supporting us as well have also been playing it. Whereas Meant to Be, in fact, you are the only station that's played it so far. Wow. So it's still your exclusive.
We are going to hit that. So. We'll hit that when we come back, literally. Now, guys, we will wrap it up after this, but you'll get a copy of everything we do today, literally. Barbara very quickly had to change devices. Her other one ran out of battery power, literally. God, that's hot. I talk too much. Yeah, I know I do. But at the same time, we'll take some. Yeah, I know. We'll take some crazy photos, and we'll give you a copy of the photos that we take, everything like that. You'll be able to put them on your phones, on your wallpapers, stuff like that. You know, Kiwis not healthy. Don't do it. Barbara will also turn this whole thing into a movie for you. You'll get a copy of that. It'll also go up on YouTube. So for those of you watching it on YouTube, you know, thumb it, give it the big thumb. But more importantly, guys, and this is really, really cool, because it's the one thing that makes me look good, is she's going to turn it into a cartoon as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
So we'll be able to see what Luke looks like in a cartoon.
Hey,
I think it's going to be great.
I think you'd be quite suited.
I quite like the idea of me being two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Three-dimensional first.
That also really suits my personality.
It suits mine. I want to turn reality into doing cartoon interviews all the time. You know what I mean? But crazily enough,
theme tune and like music and stuff.
Did you ever see there's a thing over here with Ricky Gervais, the comedian, and his radio engineer called Carl Pilkington, and they just did a show based on him and Stephen Merchant talking about him, and they animated that brilliantly. Yeah. Everyone animated this sort of really bizarre views of the world. I think that maybe should be our thing.
Oh, by the way, do you guys know a guy called Schofield over there?
Yeah.
Philip Schofield.
Yes. Not personally.
I trained that guy straight out of university. He came to one of the biggest radio stations in Auckland, and well, they wanted him to be gay, and he didn't want to be gay, right? To get anywhere in the industry back in those days, it was sort of like, you know, rub shoulder kind of deal.
Yeah.
And he wasn't that way. So they gave him a Sunday morning show, literally, playing kids' stories, breakfast stories and stuff like that. So he gave them the big bird, but I actually trained him how to be a radio announcer. And I watch all the time. I see Philip Schofield on all sorts of English shows these days.
Yeah, he's quite a big deal over here.
Yeah.
Fisco.
Right, he's on the adverts now, isn't he? So,
I see his hair's always been the same colour though.
Yes, yeah. He's a silver fox.
It was like that when I first met him. Really was.
He's quite a national treasure.
Yeah, he's a Kiwi though.
I know.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and such a pleasure to have everybody joining us today. It really, really is. Been an extra long one, I've got to be honest. My fault entirely. Poor Barbara's run out of battery power and different devices. There's been all sorts of mayhem through this interview, but you know something? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, guys, I take it that you're still writing more music. Are you going to be releasing anything new in the near future?
Yeah.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is an album out in spring,
summer.
I want to say late spring. Yeah. I mean, yeah, timescales subject to change. But yeah, so we're continuing to. There's tracks that we're finishing off at the moment, and you know, they're slightly more finished. You know, we're just kind of about to send them off to be mixed, and then others where, you know, writing the final sections, etc., develop them a bit further. But
yeah, we try and always have a track, basically writing one's being mixed, one's being mastered, and so it's a sort of conveyor belt system that we try and keep populated, just so there's a goal to kind of fill it up.
Yeah.
But I think as well, you know, we've both had some sort of new jobs, different time commitments, you know, kids, family stuff, you know, going on, and I think I'm just looking forward to meeting up regularly in the coming weeks and playing these songs. You know, we were practicing downstairs this afternoon, and yeah, it's starting to sound really cool, and yeah, I'm quite looking forward to kind of mastering what we've done a little bit rather than moving on too soon. But yeah, we'll definitely get some stuff out soon.
I think the thing is that we're always exploring new ideas. I mean, you know, Piers, you sent something, was it yesterday, day before, where it's, oh, you know, check out this new section for this track, and that's one of the most exciting bits for us anyway. You know, developing the tracks and, you know, sending something new to, you know, I love receiving something new from these guys, and you know, and then exploring what vocals are going to go over it, etc. It's really fun. So we're just constantly creating, really, every chance we get. So
what I'm basically saying now is, will you come back again?
Oh, absolutely.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We'll get you some t-shirts first.
Yes.
Yeah, do that. Unfortunately, you know, Staffy. Yeah, literally, but would be honoured to wear your brand. I really, really would. But I got to thank you guys. Don't go anywhere just yet. But today we've been joined by Piers, Ed, and of course Luke over there. That doesn't say a lot. NeonFields coming out of the UK. Please come back again. Please check out the music. Go and have a look at the movie. Literally, have a good look at it. You get all the details, where you can get hold of them. But in the meantime, have a very happy and successful day. If you're going to watch it over there on YouTube, you know what to do. Yeah, sub, thumb, bell. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. In the meantime, we'll head right on back over to the other studio. You're right here in
For the longest time we tried.